Just a year ago, Rodrygo Goes was untouchable. A guaranteed starter for Real Madrid, scoring in big games, living the dream in the white jersey. He was the future. But in football, the future changes fast. Now in 2025, Kylian Mbappé arrives at the Santiago Bernabeu, and suddenly everything shifts. The pecking order is no longer the same, the formation changes, the headlines change, and Rodrygo, he's fighting for minutes. How does a player go from being Real Madrid's rising star to possibly warming the bench without doing anything wrong? This is the story of how football's most brutal truth, "You're only as safe as your last game," is playing out for one of Brazil's brightest talents. What does Mbappé's arrival mean for Rodrygo's future? Can he adapt, survive, or even thrive in this new Galactico era? Or is this the beginning of a silent downfall? Let's break down the evolution, the tactics, the drama, and what's really going on behind the scenes at Real Madrid. 1. Rodrygo's rise at Real Madrid. When Rodrygo Goes signed for Real Madrid in 2019, he was just 18, a skinny kid from Santos, Brazil, carrying the hopes of a nation and a €45 million price tag. Many doubted whether he could handle the pressure of the Bernabeu, but from day one, Rodrygo proved he wasn't just a prospect, he was a performer. He scored a perfect hat-trick in the Champions League against Galatasaray at just 18, left foot, right foot, and header, becoming the second youngest player ever to do so in the competition. That night, the world noticed. Rodrygo wasn't the flashiest player on the pitch, but he was clutch, always showing up when it mattered. Remember that crazy comeback against Manchester City in 2022? 2 late goals in the space of 2 minutes. He saved Madrid's Champions League dream and cemented himself as a big-game player. Over the seasons, Rodrygo evolved. Under Ancelotti, he was used as a winger, a false nine, even occasionally in midfield. His versatility became his superpower. He wasn't loud, but he was effective, often flying under the radar compared to the likes of Vinicius Jr. or Benzema, but every bit as crucial. The fans loved him. The media called him the silent killer. And with Benzema's departure and Hazard's decline, it looked like Rodrygo was finally ready to become a permanent starter, a real pillar of Madrid's future. He earned his place, he fought for it, he delivered him, but then football did what football does. It changed. Dvatire, the Mbappé transfer saga. The Kylian Mbappé to Real Madrid story wasn't just a transfer, it was a saga. A never-ending football soap opera that stretched over 4 years. It all began in 2021, when Mbappé made it clear he dreamed of playing for Real Madrid. That summer, Madrid made a €200 million bid, only for PSG to reject it, despite Mbappé having just 1 year left on his contract. Everyone thought, surely next year. But in 2022, when his deal was finally set to expire, the unthinkable happened. Mbappé renewed with PSG, not just any extension, a blockbuster contract with massive power at the club. Madrid fans felt betrayed. The media turned on him. Many thought the door was shut forever. Still, the rumors never died. Every transfer window sparked new headlines. Mbappé wants out, secret meetings with Florentino, Real Madrid or nothing. The tension kept building, fans debated, players were asked about it, and even Rodrygo and Vinicius were pulled into the narrative. Would they lose their spots if Mbappé came? Finally, in 2024, Mbappé made it official. He was leaving PSG. No renewal, no more games. The announcement sent shockwaves through European football. When Real Madrid confirmed the deal, the football world exploded. Social media, news outlets, even La Liga's marketing, it all revolved around one name, Mbappé. Even before he set foot in Valdebebas, Mbappé's presence was felt. Coaches started planning new formations, sponsors lined up, fans speculated who would start and who would sit. His arrival wasn't just a signing, it was a power shift. And for players like Rodrygo, that meant uncertainty, pressure, and the beginning of a whole new internal competition. 3. Mbappé's arrival and immediate impact. When Kylian Mbappé officially became a Real Madrid player in the summer of 2024, the football world knew things would change, but few realized just how fast it would all happen. Within days of preseason, Carlo Ancelotti began reshaping his tactics. Real Madrid had long relied on a fluid front three: Vinicius Jr. on the left, Rodrygo on the right, and various options through the middle. But now, with Mbappe in the mix, a global superstar who demands to play centrally or cutting in from the left, things got complicated. Suddenly, the left wing belonged to Vinicius versus Mbappe, two explosive attackers whose best position is, unfortunately, the same. To accommodate both, Ancelotti tested a new system: Mbappe as a striker in a 4-3-1-2 or 4-4-2 diamond, Vinicius on the left, or drifting centrally, Rodrygo often pushed out or starting from the bench. This wasn't just tactical, it was symbolic. For the first time, Rodrygo's place was no longer guaranteed. Despite years of loyalty and big game performances, he was now the expendable one in a front line that included Mbappe, Vinicius, and even Jude Bellingham playing advanced roles. Reports from inside the club suggested tension, not open conflict, but unease. Multiple Spanish outlets noted that Rodrygo was reconsidering his role and frustrated by unclear positioning. Some journalists hinted that while Rodrygo remained professional, his camp began asking quiet questions about future opportunities. Even the locker room dynamics shifted. Mbappe entered not just as a player but as a brand, with power, presence, and expectations. Every camera was on him. Every formation started with him. Rodrygo, once a rising star, now found himself at a crossroads: adapt or get left behind.
His versatility became his superpower. He wasn't loud, but he was effective, often flying under the radar compared to the likes of Vinicius Jr. or Benzema, but every bit as crucial. The fans loved him. The media called him the silent killer. And with Benzema's departure and Hazard's decline, it looked like Rodrygo was finally ready to become a permanent starter, a real pillar of Madrid's future. He earned his place. He fought for it. He delivered. But then, football did what football does. It changed. Globe showing Europe Africa 2, the Mbappe transfer saga. The Kylian Mbappé to Real Madrid story wasn't just a transfer, it was a saga, a never-ending football soap opera that stretched over 4 years. It all began in 2021, when Mbappé made it clear he dreamed of playing for Real Madrid. That summer, Madrid made a €200 million bid, only for PSG to reject it, despite Mbappé having just 1 year left on his contract. Everyone thought, surely next year. But in 2022, when his deal was finally set to expire, the unthinkable happened. Mbappé renewed with PSG. Not just any extension, a blockbuster contract with massive power at the club. Madrid fans felt betrayed. The media turned on him. Many thought the door was shut forever. Still, the rumors never died. Every transfer window sparked new headlines. Repeat button: Mbappé wants out. Detective secret meetings with Florentino. Speech balloon: Real Madrid or nothing. The tension kept building, fans debated, players were asked about it, and even Rodrygo and Vinicius were pulled into the narrative. Would they lose their spots if Mbappé came? Multiple Spanish outlets noted that Rodrygo was reconsidering his role and frustrated by unclear positioning. Some journalists hinted that while Rodrygo remained professional, his camp began asking quiet questions about future opportunities. Even the locker room dynamics shifted. Mbappé entered not just as a player, but as a brand, with power, presence, and expectations. Every camera was on him. Every formation started with him. Rodrygo, once a rising star, now found himself at a crossroads: adapt or get left behind. Chart decreasing for Rodrygo's decline in minutes and confidence. The Mbappé era at Real Madrid began with fireworks, but for Rodrygo Goes, it sparked a slow and painful decline that couldn't be ignored. In the 2023-24 season, before Mbappé arrived, Rodrygo played 3,850 minutes across all competitions. He scored 19 goals, provided 9 assists, and was involved in nearly every major game. His average rating per match was consistently high, and his confidence on the pitch was obvious, taking defenders on, calling for the ball, celebrating with joy. Fast forward to 2024-25, with Mbappe now leading the line, Rodrygo's minutes dropped to just 2,300 by mid-season. His goal tally stalled at 6, assists at 3, and his involvement in big matches became inconsistent. He started fewer Champions League knockout games and was subbed off earlier, often around the 60-minute mark. The shift wasn't just in numbers. It was visible. Rodrygo, once fearless in 1v1s, started playing safer. He seemed hesitant in front of goal. His body language changed, shoulders down, fewer smiles, less interaction with teammates after being subbed. Spanish commentators began using phrases like low on confidence and out of rhythm. Even Carlo Ancelotti acknowledged the issue in a press conference. Speaking head Rodrygo is a fantastic player. The situation has changed with new arrivals, but he's important to us. He needs to keep working, opportunities will come. Rodrygo himself remained composed but hinted at frustration in an interview with Marca. Speaking head, it's a long season. I want to play, I always want to help the team. Of course, things are different now, but I trust my work. Still, trust doesn't always equal minutes. And in a team bursting with world-class forwards, momentum matters. Rodrygo's drop in form became a self-reinforcing cycle. Less time meant less impact, which meant even less trust from the coach. For a player who once thrived on rhythm and responsibility, the decline wasn't just statistical, it was psychological. Brain 5, tactical breakdown, why Mbappe replaced him. From a purely tactical standpoint, Kylian Mbappé offers something that Real Madrid craved: devastating left-wing dominance and elite end product in central zones. While both he and Rodrygo are technically gifted and tactically intelligent, the differences in profile and impact are stark, and that's where Rodrygo loses out. Mbappe is most dangerous cutting in from the left flank, driving into the box with pace and power. His ability to receive the ball high and wide, isolate defenders 1v1, and explode centrally makes him a nightmare for backlines. He doesn't just beat players, he finishes with ruthless precision. That inside left channel? It's his kingdom. Now here's the issue: Vinicius Jr. also thrives there. So, Ancelotti's solution? Shift Mbappe centrally, either as a pure number 9 or as a hybrid forward in a 4-3-1-2. That means Jude Bellingham plays just behind, Vinicius floats to the left, and Rodrygo, well, he's often the odd one out. Rodrygo's biggest strength, his flexibility, has quietly become a weakness in this new system. He can play on the right, left, or as a second striker, but he doesn't own any of those positions. Unlike Mbappe, who demands tactical priority, Rodrygo adapts to others. In a team full of stars, that versatility makes him easy to rotate, bench, or shift around. In tactical terms, Mbappe offers direct verticality, elite pace, and box threat. Rodrygo offers link-up play, movement, and intelligence, but less chaos, less fear factor. Ancelotti favors high-impact transitions and penetration through the center. With Mbappe and Vinicius both drawing defenders, the spaces Rodrygo once exploited are now occupied. In some matches, he's been used as a right midfielder in a narrow diamond, far from his natural instincts. If this were a video, you'd see red circle Mbappe drawing the high line, blue circle Vinicius stretching the flank, white circle Rodrygo floating between lines, but without a clear zone of influence. It's not that Rodrygo got worse, it's that the system evolved without him in mind. Speaking head 6, media and fan reactions. As Rodrygo's minutes declined and his influence faded, the media and fans didn't stay quiet, in fact, they lit up. Spanish newspapers ran bold headlines. Newspaper Rodrygo pierde protagonismo, Rodrygo loses relevance, as. Newspaper Sobra Rodrygo en este Madrid? Is Rodrygo surplus in this Madrid? Marca. Football talk shows debated his future constantly. One El Chiringuito panelist declared, "Speaking head Rodrygo is a good player. But this is Real Madrid. Good isn't enough anymore." On X, Twitter, fans were split. Repeat button at Madridista Nico. Rodrygo gave us magical moments. We owe him more respect. But right now, Mbappe Rodrygo. Simple. Speech balloon at La Casablanca _ Rodrygo deserves better than being a utility sub. He needs rhythm to shine. We're wasting him. Even respected pundits like Guti and Fernando Morientes chimed in. Speaking head, Rodrygo's quality isn't the issue. It's about timing and tactical fit. Right now, Madrid's system isn't built for him. The pressure didn't stop at commentary. It began to seep into matchday crowds, quieter applause when Rodrygo came on, louder frustration when he lost the ball or missed a chance. He wasn't being booed, but the unspoken judgment was clear. All of this public scrutiny had a psychological toll. Rodrygo, known for his calm demeanor, started looking more isolated during matches. Less expressive. Less assertive. In Madrid, where fan memory is short and expectations sky high, you're either rising or you're slipping. And Rodrygo was dangerously close to the latter. Counterclockwise arrows button 7. Rodrygo's response and mentality. Through all the noise, one thing about Rodrygo Goes stands out: he hasn't complained publicly, not once. No cryptic tweets. No agent drama. Just quiet resilience. In an interview with DAZN, Rodrygo addressed the situation with humility and maturity. Speaking head, every player wants to play every game. I respect the coach's decisions, and I keep working. This is Real Madrid, competition is normal. On Instagram, he posted a photo of himself in training with the caption: Speech balloon fe, foco, trabalho. Faith, focus, work. A subtle message, but clear, he's not giving up. Rodrygo has faced pressure before, from the expectations of being the next Neymar in Brazil to the weight of playing at the Bernabeu as a teenager. But this chapter is different. This is about survival among superstars. About proving that consistency matters just as much as star power. Ancelotti has continued to praise his attitude. Speaking head, Rodrygo is always professional. He trains like a starter, even when he doesn't start. That's the mentality I want. This fight back echoes past stories in Madrid. Marco Asensio, once the golden boy, faded as others overtook him. Isco, another fan favorite, struggled when the system changed. Rodrygo stands at that same crossroads, but he's still young, still evolving, and still fighting. He's begun adjusting his game, working harder off the ball, trying to link deeper with midfielders, and even spending time practicing finishing in tight spaces. He knows he may never dominate the spotlight like Mbappe, but his goal now is simple: stay essential, stay visible, stay in the fight. Because at Real Madrid, silence isn't weakness, it's focus. Crystal Ball 8, what the future holds for Rodrygo. As Rodrygo battles through the toughest spell of his Real Madrid career, one question hovers over everything: what's next? Could he leave? It's not unthinkable. According to reports from Relevo and Fabrizio Romano, a few top European clubs, including Manchester City and PSG, have inquired about his situation. A big offer could tempt Madrid, especially if the squad becomes overcrowded with attacking talent. But Rodrygo has never shown signs of wanting out. At just 24 years old, he still believes in his ability to reinvent himself at the highest level. Some insiders suggest Ancelotti sees a future for him in a more central role, perhaps as a right-sided forward in a 4-4-2 or even as a creative outlet in midfield, a kind of modern-day Isco with more pace and directness. Another possibility? Super sub excellence. Rodrygo has already proven he can change games off the bench. His impact against Manchester City in 2022 is the stuff of Champions League legend. Could he carve out a legacy as Madrid's clutch weapon? Maybe. But for a player of his ambition, that might not be enough. His future may depend on more than just talent. It will require reinvention, mental strength, and patience. We've seen players like Luka Modric and Nacho stay relevant for over a decade by evolving. Rodrygo might have to follow a similar path, not as the face of the team, but as the one who makes the team complete. He's not done. Not even close. But whether he remains a pillar or becomes a pawn, depends on what he does next. Thread 9. Moral of the story. Just a year ago, Rodrygo Goes was a rising star, a Champions League hero, a guaranteed starter at the biggest club in the world. But then came Kylian Mbappé, and with him, a new era, new tactics, and new challenges. Rodrygo didn't get worse. Football just moved on, fast. And at a club like Real Madrid, that's all it takes. Your spot is never secure. Your past glories don't guarantee tomorrow's minutes. This is more than Rodrygo's story, it's the reality of modern football. Chart decreasing form fades. Chart increasing systems change. Briefcase decisions come from the top. Rodrygo now finds himself at a crossroads, fight to adapt, accept a new role, or walk away and start fresh elsewhere. It's a harsh truth, but one every player learns eventually. Football waits for no one. Whether he fades or flourishes will depend on how he responds next. Backhand index pointing right, what do you think? Is Rodrygo being treated unfairly? Should he leave Madrid to grow elsewhere, or stay and fight for his legacy? Let us know in the comments. Backhand index pointing down. If you like this video and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. More awesome videos coming soon, stay tuned. Winking face.